So we got to a point where I was eating brown bread and peanut butter. That is for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday to Monday, straight, right? So, and at that time, you've got that peer pressure from home, you've got that peer pressure from friends. They're starting to buy cars. You're like, hey, these guys are living their life. And you're like, it would be nice, if I can be in their position. But there was that thing that said, you just have to keep on keeping on.
In today's episode of Citizens Podcast, I'll be chatting to Siyabonga Tiwana, who is the co-founder and head of new markets development at Skywalk Innovations and was featured in 2019's Forbes Africa 30 Under 30. Hey, Sia, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Dave. Yourself?
I'm great, my brother. I'm great. Flying in this morning. How was the flight?
The flight was great. I was sleeping the whole day because it was a morning flight.
Oh, yeah. I love those. It's been a minute. We've been trying to get you over here, being in Cape Town and you being on the other side of the country. We're really honored to have you.
Yeah, look, I really appreciate all the effort that you guys are doing. This is really amazing. I'm really honored to be here.
Sure, man. So I'm just going to dive into it because, people know who you are, but for some of our new guests who don't really know who you are, who would you say Siyabonga Tiwana is in maybe 30 seconds?
Look, so Siya is a guy from Mpumalanga that came to Cape Town to study software development and eventually got myself into entrepreneurship. So I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship, product development, digital transformation, strategy and implementation. So anything tech, that's me.
Amazing. Anything tech. Okay. So it makes me think, was it the plan all along? Did you want to venture into tech, or did you initially want to do something? Maybe something your parents wanted you to do. Was the path lined up for you that way?
So, this was it was an interesting journey for me. So I always liked computers. Didn't have one. Didn't have that privilege from growing up. But my mom, at some point, I don't know how, managed to get me a desktop, right? That didn't work, so I was fixing it almost every day. And then after finishing matric, I went to study something else. I was supposed to be an artisan, basically, right? But then when I was studying that pipe fitting at that place in Mpumalanga, I met up with another guy that was studying in Cape Town, doing software development at Cape Peninsula University of Technology. So I was like, okay, interesting. Tell me what you guys were doing. So he was telling me, I was like, that is interesting. Actually, I'm leaving this place. I'm going to where you were studying, and I want to do what you were actually doing. And that's how I ended up in Cape Town.
Amazing. I think it's only right you mentioned the guy's name because he got you where you are today.
Yes.
Yeah, give him a shout out, man.
Thanks to Matthews, man. He really helped me to shape the journey to get here. He also didn't know, he was just sharing what he was doing because I didn't have the privilege to get career guidance, to know things like this. How did it actually go about? And tech at that time, I think it was not a big thing as it is now, so it was about those other different careers.
Amazing, man. So I know for you, it's all mapped out, it's all clear. You are able to articulate what you do now. But what do your parents say you do when they explain it to their friends?
Actually, they don't know, right? They only know that this guy is running a business and it seems as if things are working well for him, and that's just it. Trying to get my mom to tell you what I do, no, she doesn't know a thing. Even what I was studying as well. Yeah. She was like, nah, I only know that he was at Cape Peninsula University of Technology. That's it.
Yeah. Incredible. Amazing. When you're successful, parents don't really care what you do. They
You're right.
know that
You're right.
you got a job.
Yeah. As long as you pay the bills, then we're happy.
True. Yeah. Awesome. So on that note, so yourself and Tyrone, I believe it's Tyrone Adams.
Yeah.
You founded Skywalk Innovation, right?
Yeah.
And now you have offices everywhere, South Africa, even in the United States.
Yeah.
But initially you operated from a lab at campus.
Yeah.
And before you could have your own offices. So what was that experience like to you?
So just to correct the first one, so the headquarters is in Cape Town, in Joburg and other places, just virtual, because we've got people that are working with us, like in Zim and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, for us, it was a great experience because we had this innovation lab at school that no one really was utilizing it the best possible ways that it was supposed to be utilized, right?
Yeah.
So we asked for a space at campus with very good relationships with some of the lecturers, and they gave it to us, right? So, you know, there's access to internet there are computers there, so that helped us to actually kickstart the business. And then I remember some of the early clients, when they come to us, they're like, okay, so where's your office? We're like, no, it's at the university. Like, where? Right? Like, no, at the university. So that was that.
Amazing. So you definitely owe something to the university,
Yeah.
unless you've already paid your dues there.
Yeah, we always do. We always do.
I love it. I believe they are one of your clients, or they were one of your initial clients.
Yeah, so Cape Peninsula University of Technology, I mean, the great thing with them was that, you know, we started with smaller businesses, right? So we wanted to venture, you know, challenges with smaller businesses, they don't usually have the budget, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to venture into medium-sized to large corporates. And they are the first people that gave us an opportunity. So then we did work, we did a career portal for them. So when we went out to look for new opportunities or new clients, we said we've got Cape Peninsula University of Technology as our client. They're like, okay, that means you guys are credible. So that's how things escalated from there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow, that's an amazing detail of the story. On that note, then, what are some of the misconceptions around, you know, scaling, starting and growing tech businesses, especially in South Africa?
Yeah, look, so interesting. So some of the misconceptions that we have with entrepreneurs that I always fight or struggle with them is that they think that they need to raise funding to build a business, right? This is not Silicon Valley. This is not, you know, your first world countries. We've got challenges here in South Africa, in Africa, right? Yeah. So for me, if you solve a problem for someone, that means that you have a business, right? If you can scale that business model, then you have a business, right? So I believe that entrepreneurs should be going out to look for problems. We know the challenges of funding is actually a massive thing, but then you can offer your services to someone, they pay you, and then you get to the point where you build something for someone, right? So that's the one challenge. So when it comes to product development, right, people are like, you know, I want to build an app for this. Yeah. You're like, I want to build an Airbnb for, you know, an Uber for this. So I'm like, okay, cool. So have you spoke to your potential customers? Like, no, I need to build the app first before I can go to customers. That doesn't work, right? You need to go and speak to your potential customers. Like, as an example, if I want to sell you a cell phone, right, I wouldn't know what kind of cell phone you like. Yeah. So if I'm going to try to sell you another brand that is not your favorite, it's just not going to work. So it's better to come to you and say, hey, Dave, what kind of a cell phone do you actually like or prefer? And then you give me that. Then from then, I get you that at the price that, you know, the two of us, you know, would agree upon. And it will be a profitable business for me. And I can be in a position to actually scale that. So, yeah, that's the second misconception that people always have.
Crazy. So before I get to talking about Skywalk Innovation and what sets you apart, so in these times we're living in, these unpredictable times, unpredictable lockdowns and power cuts and, you know, high unemployment rate, people tend to be desperate. And when you're desperate, you don't really look at risks. You know, you hear funding and you want funding. You're like, this is what I need. I need capital. I have an idea, and there's no way I can implement it without funding. So are you saying that that shouldn't be the first thing we look at, getting funding? And, you know, what are you saying exactly? So
what I'm saying is, first, people need to understand what problem are they solving, right? Like you've said, there's unemployment, right? I've got the issue with load shedding and stuff like that, right? There is scarcity of water, and there are so many problems that we're experiencing in Africa. Yeah. It starts with what problem am I gonna solve, right? Not that I have an app idea, I'm looking for funding. So you can't bring, you know, people, they start with a solution and then they go look out for problems, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is people should go out there, look for problems, look for potential customers that are willing. You know, sometimes people are actually willing to pay you while you actually, you know, solve that particular problem. So if you are in a position, if you problem that you're solving is big enough, you spoke to a great amount of potential clients, funding you're gonna get, right? Because now we're living in COVID actually helped us now that we're living in like one massive economic community, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy to communicate with anyone, either from San Francisco, just to get funding, as long as the problem that you're solving is actually a valid problem and you've got potential customers that are willing to pay for it.
Amazing. Talking about one community, one of my mentors who doesn't know he's my mentor, Tommy Davis, he said COVID caused the death of distance.
Yeah.
That's like,
Right.
a dope line. And it is true that back in the days, you literally had to go into these spaces and meet these people physically. And nowadays, you can actually access them virtually. And people are more willing to meet you where you are.
Yeah.
So for you, this was pre-COVID. What means did you have to do to get funding, if you actually got funding to start Skywalk? What is the journey? Where did it all start? I know for a fact that you, as we're sitting now, only have about 4 or 5 months working experience, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing story to tell. So do you mind taking us through that, where it started for you? How did you get funding, and what did you have to do to get to where you are actually today?
Okay, cool. So after varsity, right, I went to work for a UK-based company, but they had offices in Joburg and Cape Town, right?
Okay.
So when I worked there, I realized that, no, man, we need technology solutions for smaller businesses, because they can be in a position to either automate their business processes or be in a position to sell their products globally, right? So 5 months down the line, I thought to myself that, you know what, let me just resign, and then we go start Skywalk Innovations with my business partner. He actually helped me to draft the resignation letter, right? Then from then, we realized that we could use open source technology. So this means that you can take a piece of technology. You don't have to pay anyone for licenses and stuff like that. Customize it and make that a solution for a smaller business. So that's how we started, and that didn't need any funding. So the resources that we needed was a laptop or a computer, internet, and a cell phone. That's it, right? So we started with a small business to help him manage his bookings, because he was a personal trainer, right?
Oh.
So for us, it was building that online booking system for him, deploying it, in the cloud, and that was it. Then he paid us for that, and then we looked for kind of similar clients, and we started building websites for people, and that was that. So each and every milestone that we needed to achieve, we just needed to get more clients. We get more clients, that's how we scale. Then that's how we started to hire, one intern that worked for us, and from then we needed to get more clients, and that's how things actually eventually escalated. So we are running a service-based business, and we have the skills ourselves. That's another thing that I'll always like to emphasize. Build something that you have knowledge and experience or expertise. I can't start a construction company because I don't know anything in that space. So I would be having that assumption that, I will need to get all of these other resources. So if you can start from where you are with the resources that you actually have. So for us, we never had to get or raise funding up until today.
Wow. Okay, I was
Yeah.
expecting, So you never got to raise
No,
funding?
we never
Wow.
raised funding. We're running a service-based business. You get more
Yeah,
clients,
yeah.
and then from then you service them, they pay you. It's just a matter of working out your payment structure so that you can make sure that you always have a cash flow, right? But then we also are building products that we are trying to take to the market. So the way that we're doing that, we understand that building a product to a market, it will need funding. Lucky enough, again, we still have the expertise to build a product ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But then going to market, it will require funding. So what we do is on Skywalk, when we make profit, we take some of the profits and then we invest back into the business. That is how we're actually growing the business to be running for 8 years now.
Incredible, man.
Yeah.
So Skywalk Innovation, right?
Yeah.
No S at the end. Innovation.
It's innovations.
Innovations.
Yeah.
What sets you guys apart from other, tech companies out there?
Cool. That's a great question. So look, there's so much technology consulting companies that are small, the other ones that are big.
Yeah.
So if you want to build a product, you can even get a university student to actually build that for you, right? But then for us, we walk the journey with the clients. There are clients that we tell them that, look, we are not ready to build a product at the moment. Let us help you. We have got what we call discovery, right? In discovery, we try to understand what problem are you solving, right? We walk through that exercise with you, because people, they think that I need that product, to get to the market, but then they don't know the entire process that it takes before you can begin to build, right? Okay. So understand the problem that you're trying to solve, help them identify who are their key potential, partners that, they can work with to take the product to the market. So then from then we help them to speak to potential customers, get some feedback on the product that on the problem that you're trying to solve. Then thereafter we design the app or the web application, or whatever the case might be. Then from then we still engage with the potential customer. So that's the one element, right? Then from then we then move to our building, which really everyone else can really build that. Yeah. But then Skywalk is an ecosystem, because once we're done with building and then you go into market, we act as a chief technology officer to your organization, because your role is to grow your business and take it to market. And then for us, we know tech and each and everything that we think that is worth for your business as far as technology is concerned. We give that advice, we do that support and maintenance for you. So then what we're doing is we've got access to potential investors for your product. We've got people, we already know some people in the market, so we can introduce you to people if you want to take your product to other countries and stuff. So we're more like an ecosystem. We are not just building that product for you, but then we give that guidance. We walk that journey with you. We help you to introduce you to investors if you get to the point where you actually need some investing. So that's what makes us unique to people.
Amazing. I mean, come on. I think I need to throw this in there. Look, man. I'm thinking, what am I doing? It's almost like I'm just coming with an idea and saying, hey, this is it. And you do everything for me, literally.
You work with you. Because, we've read the books, right? Yeah. We have done the work ourselves, right? We have clients in 3 continents, right? So we know what it takes, right? So we can help you to potentially be like us, or eventually grow just beyond us. So that's what sets us apart from other people.
Sure. So, probably someone listening will think, okay, but this is too much. It sounds too good to be true. How much am I looking at, more or less, at getting obviously your services rendered to me to the fullest? And is it some sort of membership that I need to subscribe to, or I just need to be your client? And is this for a limited time, the support that you provide, or is it for the lifetime of the product?
Okay, cool. So the way that our business model works, so we've got discovery, we've got engineering, we've got growth, right? Okay. So in discovery, it's an exercise for about 6 weeks. That is where we go through your business model, find out the problem that you're solving, and go through all those exercises, right? And then thereafter, we do high fidelity prototype. It's basically designs of your entire app, so that when then we invite potential customers. So I say, hey, look, Dave, there's this product that we're building, we're trying to take it to the market. Can you please just go through it, see if it actually makes sense for you and you are a potential customer, right? And then you go through the app and say, no, look, it would be nice if I would have this and that, right? So it's easier for us to, and it's cost effective to improve on designs than the actual application itself, right? Then once we're done with that exercise, then we move to engineering. So that's about 6 weeks for discovery. Then we move to engineering. So for minimum viable products, we're looking at about 3 to 4 months sometimes, right? If it's something that we've already built, so it might even take probably less, but you're looking at around 3 to 4 months, or sometimes 6 months, depending on the size of the project, right? Then once we're done with that exercise again, that's when you go to market, right? When you go to market, that's where we do support and maintenance. As you would know, if a new product is being launched and people are downloading the app and stuff, so it will need more support. So we work that journey on the support with the people up until maybe they feel comfortable that, you know what, we want to take over the support and maintenance by our side, but then it's just the technicalities that they're actually covering. It's not the other guide that we helping them, such as us acting as a chief technology officer to them and constantly advising them what are the best possible ways to actually maximize on using that technology.
Wow, incredible. All right, where do people find you on, before I forget that, on socials, where do people find Skywalk Innovations?
So Skywalk Innovations, all the social platforms. So on LinkedIn, we're heavily active on LinkedIn. Instagram as well as Facebook. I just started a TikTok recently, right? So people can reach out to me directly, or they can just reach out to Skywalk Innovations. Even if you search on Google, you're gonna find us.
Okay, cool. I'm asking that because I want to shift a bit. I just want to move to you because I think Skywalk Innovation is your journey as much as you also have your own personal journey.
True.
Do you still believe 2015 was your worst year?
Yeah.
Or
don't take me there. Don't take me there. Look, in 2015, so when we started so I moved into the business in July 2014, right? So we're getting some traction, we're getting some clients. It was, happy days. And then come 2015 July, right? Probably just about a year, no client, right? July, August, no client, right? It went on up until December. But then what had happened was that each and every month I needed to pay rent, right? And I didn't have money to pay rent. So I would sell a laptop. The following month I would sell a tablet. The following month I would find something to sell, right? Just so that, we can keep on, covering the expenses and then keep trying to push the business. I don't know why we actually didn't give up in month 3 because clearly this thing was not working.
Wait, sorry, you're still running the business?
We're still running the business for 6 months with no client. Imagine, what business are you running for 6 months with no client? So that was the case. But then each and every month, so we got to a point where I was eating brown bread and peanut butter. That is for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday to Monday, straight, right? So, and at that time, you've got that peer pressure from home. You've got that peer pressure from friends. They're starting to buy cars. You're like, hey, what? These guys are living the life. And you're like, what? It would be nice, if I can be in their position. But there was that thing that said, what? You just have to keep on keeping on. And at that time, it was great. When they say when they speak about location and starting a business, that actually comes in handy. So we started here in Cape Town. So lucky enough at that time, it was before COVID, so there were a lot of events that were happening. My man, to tell you, I knew all the events that were happening in Cape Town, and I knew the events that had snacks, right? And that's where I'll get my dinner, right? I'll skate my way from Woodstock to Waterfront. And some of the events, you needed to pay. So I found a strategy around that because I couldn't afford to pay those events. So I come to assist in setting up those events so that I can get a free pass to the event, right? And thereafter, when the event is about to finish, say there's those snacks, right? That's where I'll get my dinner. Then thereafter, sometimes it will be windy, right? And the wind is heading towards the waterfront side. And I have a skateboard, so I need to skate from waterfront back to Woodstock, right? Or sometimes I would walk, right? Because we couldn't afford a taxi fare. So I would try to go and pitch to potential customers. I would skateboard there, regardless of how hot that day is, or sometimes it is raining, right? I'll wear, a jacket that I got from the graduation that my family bought me, and I'll wear that the whole time, right, to go to skate to these people. So yeah, that was the journey. Then up until December in 2015, right? So come first week, second week, in December people don't do business usually. So my family told me that they're gonna send me a bus fare to go back in Mpumalanga because that was it. This is not really working. So at that time, first week, second week, my mentor tagged me on a post on Facebook, and these guys, they were looking for as an app development company, right? I responded to them. The following day, I went to meet up with them at Betengracht, and they said the following day, bring your business partner. Then we went there, and then we gave them a quotation on whatever they wanted to build, right? It was 34,000 rand. I will never forget that. And then we said we want 50% upfront. That was money that we never, sent a proposal to before. So, and asking for 50% was, so we're crossing our fingers. And now this is probably the 3rd week of December now. So, come the 25th of December, things are getting really serious now. So the guys, they paid 50% on Christmas Day. That's how life started to change.
I don't know. That's probably the best Christmas gift you can ever get.
You're right.
You're thinking, which event do I have to go to get snacks tomorrow? Nobody is hiring. It's December. People are on holiday. And then you get 18,500.
It was 17,100 pretty much, yeah.
Man, what a story.
Yeah.
And you use that money to probably pay rent.
Yeah. So, lucky enough, my business partner was staying by his house, and finding the great business partner is really important.
Yeah.
Because there were times we would get money from a client and we'll just pay rent. That was it, right? So by then, we managed to pay rent. Managed to go out, just a little bit,
Yeah.
and then from then it was all for us. It's always about reinvesting back in the business. From then up until today.
Amazing, man. So your parents are probably saying, get a job at that time.
Yeah, they were worried that they would come back home because clearly we can't afford to pay rent for you anymore and things are not working.
Yeah.
Come back to Mpumalanga at that time. I mean, there are no economic activities that are happening where I stay or where I grow up. So I knew that it was a dead end for me. I needed to get something. By the grace of God, we're here now.
Sure, man. I'm bashing on this so much because I'm realizing it's not only the skills and the know-hows alone that will get you to where you want to get to. So for you, what do you think was the driving force for you to hold on and say, nah, we're not giving up on this dream. I'm not going back to a job. What really kept you going?
So what kept us going was that we know the value of technology, right? And we know the cost of technology as well. We know that you can, I still relate to the first client which we built a booking system for, right? So he was struggling to manage his bookings, so he would forget to invoice some of the clients and stuff like that. So when we solved his problem, right, we realized the power of what technology has. I mean, if you are selling something in the deep rural of Eastern Cape, as an example, you are now in a position to sell your products nationally. So that's the power of technology. So that's the thing that really kept us going. And we believe that at that time, the large corporates, they were not really focusing on small business for obvious reason, which is smaller business don't usually have the funding, right? So that's really what kept us going at that time up until today.
Amazing. Any advice you have for young and upcoming entrepreneurs in SA right now?
Cool. So entrepreneurship, it's not about media, right? People, they're always about, okay, you know what, I want to get profiled at this particular, it's not about that. And I see people chasing that a lot, and that have a negative impact on your business as time goes. It's nice, you get to be profiled, you get, some radio interviews or whatever the case might be, but then sometimes some of those people, they're actually not building businesses. At the end of the day, they know that they speak about what they're doing, but they don't have clients. Right. So I would say that if you're running a business, focus on running the business. And there's another business that started here in Cape Town at Stellenbosch. I've never saw them in an article or anything or read it, nothing. Right. That business now is at another level, right? So that's the first thing. Focus on building your business first. Worry about the rest later, because you need to find out what your customers likes. What sets you apart from other service providers, and what really do you actually stand for as an organization, right? You've got a vision. Are you actually following through that vision? And you'll only know that by following through and making sure that you deliver quality value to your clients, and you'll get more referrals on that, and that will be in a position to help you grow your business. The other thing is, entrepreneurs don't read, bruh. Like you need to read. You need to listen to podcasts like this. You need to, be on YouTube.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Podcast like this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Thank you.
So yeah, you need to go on YouTube. Learn. When we started the business, we didn't even know how to send, an invoice. You need to learn, those things. I love about it, but when we started, the technicalities of what we're doing, but we didn't know. So, and the other thing is that I really want to emphasize on is networking, right? You need to network, right? If I get to speak to Dave, hey Dave, this is Sia, this is what I'm doing. Like, oh, nice. I know someone in Joburg that is looking to build an app. I'll connect you with them, right? At that time, there were a lot of events. I would advise everyone to attend some events. Now, events running virtually. So, I'll, attend as much events as possible. And then the other point is people need to get a mentor, right? We wouldn't be where we are now without a mentor. Now we get to a point where we've got board members that are holding us accountable. We've got 20 employees, right? 20 to 22 employees. Yeah. So they are looking up into us, but we also need to get other people that are going to hold us accountable about the vision and driving the vision and the mission of our organization. So get mentorship. That's the one other thing that I really advise for entrepreneurs.
Amazing. Do you have a mentor?
Yeah, I do. It's Vuyisa Kabaka.
Oh, shout out to Vuyisa Kabaka.
Yeah.
We see you.
Always look after me.
Okay. Would you ever mentor someone?
Yeah. Look, I mentor a number of people. Sometimes they come, on a regular basis, sometimes occasionally. But I'm a mentor of Alan Gray, mentor of MLab on VC4A. So sometimes people they reach out to me. Sometimes I mentor people that I've never met before. So yeah, I do offer some time to mentor people because the journey, especially black-owned people, we don't have access to these kind of resources, right? So we need to help them to walk the journey much more efficiently and don't do the mistakes that most people are doing or the ones that we've also done. Yeah.
Okay, so if someone wants you to mentor them and they're listening right now, should they reach out to you or is there a process maybe? Because I'm pretty sure there's someone.
Cool. So this is how I view mentorship, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling another lady from Zimbabwe, we were having, a similar engagement like this. She was saying, look, I like your story and your achievements. Can you be my mentor? I told her that you don't ask someone to say, can you be my mentor? Because mentorship comes with a lot of responsibilities, right? So when you're saying that you want me to mentor you, I look at, okay, now I need to spare some time, probably on a weekly basis and stuff, and I don't have time. So what I usually do is, the way that I've done it and to get advice from a lot of people was that I look at Dave. Dave is really great at a specific something that I really lack, right? I say, hey, Dave, look, this is what I'm trying to do. This is where I'm at the moment. Do you mind actually, just giving me an advice on that? And people gladly open to share whatever that you're asking for. But don't just come to them and say, look, this is what I'm trying to, can you please help? What can I? No, you must know the challenges that you're facing. You must create a roadmap. Even just creating a roadmap. Here's my roadmap for the next 12 months. Do you mind giving me feedback, right? So that's another thing. But then for me, yeah, I'm always open. If someone is going to come up with something that say, can you please give me advice? I can have regular sessions with that person. I'm happy to do that with anyone.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sia is available, everybody.
Sure.
Since this is a tech sort of channel, what do you think the world is going to look like in 50 years from now?
God, that's a difficult question. So I see technology bring a lot of efficiencies in our day-to-day life, right? If you look at the healthcare as an example, you look at the smartwatches, there's so much, valuable information that we're getting from there. If you look at cars themselves, right, there's so much value that we're getting out of there. So I think that we'll be in a position where we would work efficiently. And, sometimes you'll be working from home and then now, you need to do some groceries and stuff. Now you can purchase stuff, online and then they're going to bring those things to you, right? So I think it will help us to be in a position to think logically and create more things, right? Purely because now most of the time that we were supposed to spend on, things, but then now technology is assisting us, bring that efficiency to help us move better. And health is actually one thing that I'm really looking forward to as far as technology is concerned, because you will be in a position to get assisted based on the information that you get either from your smartwatch or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, man. I'm looking forward to the day some sort of tech is implemented to make Home Affairs efficient. The day Home Affairs is efficient, I'm still holding on to my green ID book.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to know about the card, but Sia, what books are you reading currently that you can recommend to our listeners?
So there's a book that I recently bought. It's called, the title of the book is Failing to Win, right? Very incredible story that is being shared there. There's another book that I just also read about That Will Never Work. It's a story about Netflix, right?
Okay.
So I forgot other books that I'm reading, but I'm always looking at business books that will actually help me to hear other people's stories, because if you look at That Will Never Work story, you think that companies in the US, they don't go through the challenges that we are actually going through in South Africa or just in Africa as a continent, but then they go through the same thing. And we wonder that, okay, why does it work for them? And there are obviously dynamics around that. But then hearing those stories and we're using those platforms, Uber and stuff like that, you get to appreciate the journey that they've been through and gets to encourage us that, we are on the right path and we can just keep on moving on.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, is there anything that you would like to cover that we haven't covered today? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, look, I think this is the best time COVID brought so much opportunities. Look, now I'm engaging with a lot of people in the African continent. There is so much opportunities for collaborations, right? So I think people should, when they're building businesses, they shouldn't just look at the province or the community that they're living at. They should be open up to communicate and collaborate with people out of the country. Sometimes you would have a challenge on, getting your business up and running in South Africa. South Africa is just one country. There's so many countries, right?
Yeah.
So look at how can you take your company in other countries. Same applies with looking for investments. Start building the relationships with people. You know, those guys that are actually there. Those people, they are always available. If you need some mentorship and advice, people, they are always there and open up to give you guidance and to do collaborations. So I'd say that entrepreneurs should look beyond Africa. And the one thing is we need to build our Africa 3.0, where we rely on the resources that we already have, regardless of whether we're saying that we've got lack of resources. That's okay. That's how we get to build innovative solutions for ourselves, not to adopt solutions from other countries. So yeah, that's what I would say. And the next thing, look, when it comes to building technology solutions, I would always advise that people should go and speak to their potential customers, understand what problem you're solving, get to understand what is that a priority. If you're coming to me and say, look, you're building this solution and you want me to be your customer, you need to understand what are the 3 high priorities that, are my problems. And if you can solve one of the 3, I'm happy to pay for that. So people, they build solutions and they go to look for problems. That just doesn't work. And then the second thing when it comes to digital transformation, this is a mistake that even medium-sized or large corporates, I get people, they're like, okay, you know what, I want to build an app. We're running a college, but we want an e-learning solution. But for what? Yeah, everyone is going digital. But for what? You know the impact or the journey of going through digital transformation. People, they think that it's just adopting a piece of technology, but then there's culture that is involved. You get other people that are not tech savvy. I worked for this company for 25 years. This is how I do my work, right?
Yeah.
Now you're going to bring another solution that is going to change the way that I work, right? So how does culture is going to look? How does the employees or the people strategy around your digital transformation actually is being impacted? So let's look at all those things around, man. But yeah, these are the great and best times to actually, build something really incredible. I see investors, they're coming to South Africa, or, they're looking at African countries. I would encourage that we speak to startups, we build our own unicorns in Africa, not just looking at building companies and go IPO in New York Stock Exchange, whatever the case, but we've got the time and we've got the resources in Africa, and this is our time.
Amazing. Africa 3.0.
Yeah.
If you had a billboard somewhere next to Table Mountain, a massive one, and you could write anything, even if it's not to inspire.
Yeah.
What would you write on that billboard?
That's a good question. I would say that always understand what drives you, right? I've realized on my journey, there are things that drove me, such as I wanted to build my mom a house, right? I got to a point where I did that, but then I didn't have anything that was driving me anymore to keep on going, right? So always evaluate and understand what really drives you, and that will constantly make you to always improve, because you're always working towards a specific milestone. Because we reach those milestones, you see people that they are looking to build businesses, and then as time goes by, then we realize that now they are, pivoting. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I would say that always do an assessment of what drives you, and keep on finding your key drivers.
Amazing, man. Siya, thank you so much. That's our time. Thank you for honoring us with your time. And until we speak again, man, we wish you all the best, with your journey and with Skywalk Innovations. And go and impact the world. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. Thanks to you for your time and the rest of the team. I really appreciate this.
Sure. Thanks, man.
Sure.